How's it going, guys? And welcome back to BL3's Forgotten, the series where I take a look at underused and not often talked about pieces of gear to determine whether or not they deserve to be remembered within the modern meta of the game or should be left behind and forgotten. And today we are taking a look at the Horizon. If you'd like to farm the Horizon for yourself, you're going to want to fast travel over to the Voracious Canopy on Eden 6, making your way into the Family Jewel, and all the way through until you find the safe station in front of Genevieve's Arena, which is where we will be resetting from. You're going to do some backtracking just into the next room, where you can find a smaller room where Maxitrillion will spawn. Which, a quick note about killing, his spinny hands tend to just reflect all projectiles and does make him a bit of a pain in the ass to kill. However, if you have an easy way to freeze him, like a frozen heart, he becomes pretty trivial. But once you kill him, he can drop you the Horizon. The Horizon is a legendary Tediore shotgun able to roll in all elements, and can have 9 or 13 projectiles per shot for 1 to 2 ammo cost per shot respectively. The Horizon is also able to have either a bouncy or a homing reload, with the unique effect being related to these reloads, as after being thrown, the Horizon can be shot to create a singularity explosion, which will deal 50% increased damage. The Horizon has received 2 changes, initially being a 166% weapon damage increase, had its reload speed cut in half, and also had a damage increase to the singularity explosion. The Horizon was later nerfed by the overall Tediore nerf of 50% less reload explosion damage. Hey, future editing Arachnica here. I learned that the Horizon is part of the group of guns that actually ended up losing buffs that they did originally have, one of them being that previously mentioned reload speed change, as it was actually down to 1 second, though the current Horizon is at 2 seconds, with the other lost buff being a doubling of the magazine to a max of 8, which I'm going to leave the rest of the video as is, and you will see why this is upsetting. As I'm sure you can tell from those changes, the Horizon has had a pretty interesting life cycle, but despite that, it's never really been too amazing except for a brief period of time, for a couple months after those initial buffs, which was actually surprising because those buffs happened after Mayhem 2.0. There was a time that the Horizon was a really good chucker on Mayhem 10. Those buffs came October 15th of 2020, but that overall Tediore nerf came just 3 months later on the 21st of January 2021. And while the Horizon was very strong prior to that nerf, it was not strong enough to continue being good after it, at least for its chuck damage, because the chuck actually can provide very good utility, along with the singularity effect just being really cool and pretty fun to use. But usually, singularities are pretty bad in BL3 due to a mix of them ragdolling the enemies and usually being very aggressive when just whipping them around. But the Horizon seems to have a bit more of a stabilized singularity effect, making it pretty solid crowd control and actually one of the more consistent singularities in BL3. But again, unfortunately, the damage just isn't quite there anymore to really make use of it, at least itself. You could definitely still use the Horizon as a utility weapon, especially for a grenade chuck build where you just hold a Horizon, chuck it out, shoot it, get that singularity, have all your enemies grouped up, and just throw an epicenter in the middle of them. But it really is a shame that this gun has fallen from grace so hard, because it was a really fun Tediore gun, and it was one of the few that I really enjoyed using and actually made me interested in chuck builds. But as it stands nowadays, there's not really a good chucker that I really enjoy using, and that is a shame. But chucking is really only half the story, so how is it to shoot? Well, it definitely had some issues going into True Guardian Takedown, and while it could kill, and could kill a lot better than many other weapons, it definitely did feel pretty weak. But taking it over to True Maliwan Takedown was quite the surprise, because it actually kills really fucking well. The damage output is amazing, but it does have a pretty major issue, being the amount that you have to reload, and that is especially so with the ×13. Between the two, both ×13 and ×9 did feel really good damage-wise, with ×9 definitely being a lower damage output, but it had that more consistent uptime since it didn't chew through a mag in literally 2 shots. ×13 was easily a single to double tapper though, and that did make that small mag pretty damn usable because you could usually kill an enemy within a single magazine. But what makes this ammo consumption issue even worse is of course the fact that it is just a very small base mag, meaning it's very difficult to boost up with mag size increases, but it's also got a fucking 2-second reload on it. It's the Hellwalker if it had half its damage and 2 times its reload speed. Like, literally, that is actually just what this is. And while it is fun to use and decently effective to use, it's very difficult to justify over pretty much anything else. That being said though, I did really like it on Amara because between Deep Well and a Pearl, two very good things for her, she could easily hit 7 mag, and that was on top of Dread, which would automatically reload on kill of a grasped enemy. That made the gun just feel a hell of a lot smoother when you don't have to worry about that reload time. Headcount, Deja Vu, and Means of Destruction can also all provide a similar effect, however are far less consistent since they somewhat rely on RNG, whereas Dread is 100% of the time if you kill an enemy that is grasped, you're getting your ammo fully reloaded. Overall though, I do love this gun and I do find it incredibly fun to use, but it's incredibly difficult to recommend for much other than just using as a singularity. And that's coming from someone who absolutely adores the aesthetics of this gun. Something about it just clicks for me. Ever since release, I've loved how this gun looks and how it sounds and just how it feels to use, but pretty much through a majority of the life cycle of BL3, it really hasn't been that amazing, and when it finally did get its time to shine, Tediore as a whole got knocked down. And genuinely, to fix this gun, if they want it as a shooter with a singularity as utility, all it needs is a quicker reload or a bigger mag or a mix of both. And for chucking, just revert the Tediore nerf. I'm not someone who's against the idea of nerfs as a whole, but just that one was so unnecessary. Hey, editing one back again, actually, yeah, no, just fucking, as much as I don't like the Tediore nerf, not even necessary. Just give the Horizon the original buffs that it had. That'll make it good at both shooting and chucking. The only reason that the Horizon sucks right now is just because it was forgotten about when hotfixes were turned into patches. This buff is supposed to still be there, presumably, because this wasn't listed anywhere. It just sucks because of a mistake. Free my boy the Horizon. That's gonna about do it for this one though. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, all of that. I will be live right after this video goes up, right here on YouTube and also over on my Twitch, where there will be a link to down in the description below, and just under that is a link to my Discord server where you can come and join and hang out. But with that all being said, I hope to see you guys in the next one.